Good evening, everyone. I would request everyone to please switch on the cameras. Let us see the beautiful and graceful faces. Uh, let's start with the session. Good evening, esteemed dignitaries, hospitality experts, academicians, faculty members, research scholars, and industry professionals. It is truly a privilege to welcome you all to day two of the six-day online Atal Faculty Development Program, Claim to Feast, hosted by Faculty of Hotel Management at PCT Group of Institutes. As winter settles in around us, we find ourselves embracing its charm, a season of quiet reflection, warmth, and hearty flavors. Winter reminds us of cozy kitchens, simmering pots, and the unmistakable aroma of spices filling in the air. Much like this session, our FDP is a time to gather knowledge, warm our minds with new ideas, and savor the richness of experiences shared by our distinguished speakers. Let's begin by talking a quick recap of day one, which unfolds like the first frost, crisp, refreshing, and full of promise. In season one, session one, we were fortunate to hear from Chef T.K. Razdan, who gave us a comprehensive introduction to culinary arts. He explored various cooking methods and this practical application in the industry. His insights were like the essential base of winter stew, fundamental flavor and warming to the core. Following this, Chef Anirban Gupta graced us with remarkable session 2, where he delved into the diversity of Indian culinary traditions. His discussion on global menu planning painted a beautiful picture of how Indian gastronomy adds vibrancy to the world's culinary landscape. Like a warm cup of chai on a cold day, his words left us both comforted and inspired with a deeper appreciation of our culinary heritage. You all might be wondering because I have used the word chai out of all English words, but I personally feels like chai gives us more feeling of warmth rather than tea. So I have used that word chai. Now, as we step into day two, let's carry forward this warmth and inspiration. Winter, after all, is the perfect season for growth with a soil rest, seeds are planted, and ideas germinate, ready to bloom in greatness. Before we proceed, let me make a privilege to introducing the wonderful team behind this program. The coordinator of this FTP, Chef Anirban Gupta, Dean Faculty of Hotel Management, PCT Group of Institutes. The co-coordinator, Mr. Manoj Das, Faculty of Bachelors of Tourism and Travel Management. I, Jyoti Pandey, and my colleague, Rohit Gill, co-anchor from the Faculty of Hotel Management. Our seamless technical experience is being ensured by the technical team led by Mr. Sahil, Faculty of IT. A special motion and gratitude to our respected speakers who will guide and inspire us throughout the week. Over the next 6 days, starting from 6 p.m. in the evening, this FTP will embrace us with the knowledge of coziness of learning together on day two as the winter chill surrounds us. May the flame of knowledge burn bright and may we all savor this feast of learning. Let's get started. Now, starting with the session of the day, I will take a privilege to introduce Brigade White Kumar, cookbook author and food consultant, winner of Government World Book Award 2012 and 2023. Brigade White Kumar is a cookbook author, food consultant, and culinary historian. She has authored 8 recipe books on Anglo-Indian cuisine. Her area of expertise is in colonial Anglo-Indian food, and she has gone through a lot of effort in reviving the old forgotten dishes of the colonial British Raj era. Her recipe books are a mean of preserving for prosperity the very authentic taste of flavors of colonial Anglo-India. Beside recording for the future generations the unique heritage of pioneer of Anglo-Indian cuisine. 2 of her cookbooks mentioned below have won award of Government World Book Cookbook Award. This prestigious Anglo-Indian cuisine, a legacy of flavor from the past, was selected as winner from India and the category of Best Culinary History Book history book in India at the Government World Cookbook Award 2012. Her most recent cookbook, Nostalgic Anglo-Indian Comfort Book, was selected amongst top 4 in the world under the category Best Digital Food Book at the Government World Book Cookbook Award 2023. Being an independent freelance consultant and colonial Anglo-Indian cuisine, Brigade has assisted many restaurants, hotels, and clubs in Bangalore and elsewhere with her knowledge of colonial Anglo-Indian food, beside helping them to revamp and reinvent their menus by introducing new dishes, which are the combination of both continental and Anglo-Indian. Many of them are now following the recipe of guidance given by her, and the dishes are enjoyed by both Indian and foreign guests. She has conducted cooking workshops and training sessions on colonial cuisine of the British Raj for the staff at Radisson Blu GRT Chennai, Doubletree by Hilton Bangalore, JW Marriott New Delhi Aerocity, the Oberoi Mumbai, Susan Luxury Raj Mahal Palace Jaipur, and Sher Bagh Ranthambore, the Bangalore Club, the Raj Konmera Chennai, the Taj West End Bangalore, Vivanta by Taj, Whitefield, and so many. Brigade has also conducted cooking classes and demo of Anglo-Indian cuisine in Bangalore and various places across the country, such as clubs, restaurants, women groups, corporate offices, etc. Her one-of-kind interactive and hands-on culinary training workshop in Bangalore, where participants learn the fine art of preparing delicious colonial Anglo-Indian dishes, have been well received and attended. She is always ready to share and talk about the recipes and the foods. All her cookbooks are famous everywhere. And now I would request Ma'am Brigade Kumar to grace us with her valuable knowledge and experience. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Jyoti.
My pleasure, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Respected Dean, Chef Anit Ben Gupta, who has been so kind to include me in this faculty panel, respected faculty members and staff of Pcte, Department of Hotel Management, respected participants, respected speakers, and all the respective chefs who have joined us. It is indeed my privilege and honor to be among you today and speak about the rise and fall of Anglo-Indian cuisine at this online Atal faculty development program on Flame to Feast, decoding the art of culinary secrets across cultural and seasonal cycles. So let me introduce myself. My name is Bridget White Kumar. I am 72 years young. Actually, I am not a chef per se, but a retired bank official. But I am an Anglo-Indian. I have Portuguese and Dutch lineage on my mother's side, and Portuguese and British on my paternal side. So being an Anglo-Indian, I felt it has become my passion and my desire to preserve this historical and heritage cuisine, which is slowly getting extinct. And as Jyoti told you, I am a both author, independent food consultant, and I do a lot of work in preserving this cuisine. So actually, I was born and brought up in Kola Goldfields, which is a small mining town in Karnataka, which was formerly Mysore state in India. The company was owned by a British mining company called John Taylor and Sons. And my great-great-grandfather, 4 generations before me, came from Cornwall along with this mining company to set up the gold mines in Kolar Goldfields. And there were many foreigners working from different European countries working in the mines in Kolar Goldfields, the gold mines. And our community evolved because of the intermingling and intermarrying among these European races, as well as many Europeans married local ladies or just cohabited with them. And the result is us, a very hybrid community. And our food is also hybrid, which you will see. It's a mix of both European and Indian. So now I think we can get started. So colonial Anglo-Indian cuisine is perhaps one of the first examples. I'm not saying the first, among the first examples of fusion food in India. And I now request you all to go back to those early times. Transport yourselves to an era when there were no modern facilities and conveniences. Let us go down in history to see how this cuisine evolved and how it rose from humble beginnings when those early settlers or traders who came to India in search of spices must have been so homesick and dejected, missing their families and their type of food. How the addition of a few Indian spices and condiments gave rise to a completely new cuisine. So we'll start with the history and evolution of colonial Anglo cuisine. So we'll go to our first slide. So as I mentioned, this is one of the first examples of fusion food in India and the world. So we can go to the second one now, which is the history and evolution of Anglo-Indian cuisine. As you can see, it can be traced back to the early 16th century when the early Europeans came to India to trade in spices. Who were the first to come? They were the Portuguese who came in the 16th century. Then came the Dutch, then the French, and the British came in the 18th century and they established the East India Company. So this cuisine covers the early part of the 16th century right through to the end of the British Raj in 1947. So different foods evolved over this period, and it makes very interesting history. And so now we know that a lot of fusion food took place during this period. So we'll go to our third slide, which is what is colonial Anglo-Indian cuisine? So what is colonial Anglo-Indian cuisine? It is a fusion of both Western and Indian cuisine. It evolved over centuries, and a new hybrid cuisine came into existence where we assimilated, amalgamated cooking techniques, ingredients, and spices from all of the Indian subcontinent. You know, there was undivided India in those days. So different parts of India had different spices, different ingredients, and different techniques of cooking. So this was an assimilation and amalgamating of all these different cooking techniques, ingredients, and spices from all over the Indian subcontinent. So throughout the colonial period, many new hybrid dishes came into existence through the efforts and innovations of the Indian khansamas and cooks who combined spices and other ingredients to bland Western dishes, giving them a mild Indian flavor while toning down, the spices and the pungency of typical Indian dishes to suit the delicate palates of the foreigners. Thus, a new contemporary cuisine came into existence, making it truly Anglo in one side and Indian in nature, which was neither too bland nor too spicy, but with a distinctive flavor of its own. So it became a direct reflection of the multicultural and hybrid heritage of the new colonial population, where it comfortably straddled both cultures. This cuisine became a direct reflection of the new hybrid population and is the only cuisine which includes much land in its carte de jour, the very Indian-oriented curry on the one side, and the very European traditional roasts on the other. So what makes this cuisine so different and unique from other Indian cuisine? So it had a distinctive flavor of its own. It was the unusual blend of tastes and flavors, judicious use of spices and ingredients, and therefore it became a direct reflection of this multicultural and hybrid population that came into existence. So Anglo-Indian cuisine is mostly prepared using very light spices such as pepper, bay leaves, cloves, nutmegs, cinnamon, etc. And also Indian condiments in, as I said, judicious use, such as chilies, cumin, coriander, turmeric, ginger, garlic, etc. Now, many of the dishes had yogurt and milk were used in its preparation only because they needed to tone down the spice. So Anglo-Indian food is actually comfort food, homely, plain, and simple. There's nothing rich about it. It's simple, neither too bland nor too spicy, but with a distinctive flavor of its own. Since it made use of spices and flavors in moderation. So now, how did it come about? India was home to several European races. Initially, these Europeans didn't relish or attempt to add spices to their bland food. They even hated the smell of Indian spiced food. They employed kansamas and cooks to cook their own food. The memsabs trained them to cook English food or European food. But over time, these cooks got bored of cooking the same things, and very slightly they started adding a few local ingredients. So this is how they started adding, cumin to some food, or turmeric, or just a dash of chili, whatever, just to give it a little different taste. So during this period, a lot of innovations took place, and these Kansamas experimented in making puddings and sweets using local ingredients. And, they added a little, probably chana flour to make a pudding with milk. And this became like a sort of a innovation at that time, an experimentation, and you could say a revolution in food. So some examples of innovations and new dishes during this period were soups were seasoned with cumin and pepper. Their roasts, that's beef roast, other meat roasts, were made with cloves, cinnamon, and pepper, and maybe even a red chili at times. Lightly spiced curries came into existence during this time. And some examples of these are molokatani soup, uh, meat and fowl jalfrezis, tomato sauce, etc. So these many of these dishes also had a makeover, like jalfrezi. The leftover roast of the previous night was made into a spice dish the next morning with the addition of some onion, some dry chilies, and some pepper. And that became a new dish called jalfrezi. As you know, jalfrezi is two words, jal and frezi, means to fry and spice. So this was how the Kansamas catered to these the sudden craze for Indian spiced food. Now, where did these innovations and experiments in fusion food take place during this colonial period? Uh, would anybody like to tell me? Do you have any idea? Any of the participants can tell me? Where did these innovations and experiments in fusion food take place? I think no one wants to answer.
No, it should have either been Kolkata or Madras.
No. Okay, yeah. But where? In what places? In what locations, you could say?
Ma'am, the slide is already visible to us. Dark bungalows, the railways, army camps, tea gardens, clubs and recreational institutes,
Sorry.
and the homes of your ancestors.
So that's what, in the dak banglas, the railways, the army camps, tea gardens and planters clubs, different clubs and recreational institutes, in the homes of the new hybrid population that came into existence by this intermingling and marrying. And so all these innovations came through, and this new hybrid population relished this new fusion food. So what did Anglo-Indian cuisine encompass? So that was the rustic and robust flavors of the dak banglas. This is our next slide. Hearty soups and flavors from the dak banglas. Curries, cutlets, short eats were served on the railways. Then British legacies of kedgeree, country captain, molakatingni soup, lamb chops, roasts and bakes, puddings, cakes, etc. Then the Portuguese legacies of vindaloo, tangy curries, and sweet dishes. The Dutch legacy of forced or ground meat, making of steamed cutlets like fricadelles. But the French connection gave us their stews that we simmer in wine, chicken cooked in red wine, crumb fried crepes which are our pantras. All this were a legacy of the French. So Western cooking techniques were adapted during this period. So baking, grilling, roasting, pan frying. And since there was no electricity in these days, everything was cooked, grilled, roasted on open wood-fired stoves or hot charcoal and sea grease. So this is the Anglo-Indian cuisine, is the delicious result of all the foreign invasions in India, where Western cooking techniques were incorporated into colonial Anglo-Indian cuisine. And at the same time, Indian food was given an exotic touch with a few Indian spices. So the spices that they used were bay leaves, pepper, cloves, nutmeg, cinnamon, fennel, anise seeds, and different ingredients such as chilies, coriander, cumin, turmeric, ginger. And as I said, milk and yogurt were also used. So let me tell you a little about the British legacy. It's an Epicurean tryst. So it could be rightly said that Anglo-Indian cuisine was perhaps one of the first examples, as I said, of fusion food. And many of these dishes have a unique history behind them. So it was influenced by the various European invasions. But the British influence left its mark on us in a very strong way. So what did the British give us? They gave us roasts, steamed vegetables or roasted vegetables, stews, bakes, sandwiches, roast potatoes and pies. And your Sunday breakfast, the all-day breakfast, which is now very famous in all the cafes, of ham, sausages, eggs, bacon. All this is a legacy of the British and the English high tea. But then you've got to understand that British food actually was more of a club food, because even till today, these dishes are served in country clubs across India. And just as this British gave us their food, the French also gave us things like chickle pudding, pancakes, Scotch eggs. Scotch eggs are more like our nargisi kebabs. Then shortbread, oats porridge, which we have even today. Then barley water in its very uses. And one very also the cottage pie, the washerman pie, the famous hot toddy, bread pudding, steak and kidney pie are all legacies of the Scottish. And one very important thing is that the Scottish also brought in this lentil and rice dish, which they served in the Scottish army messes, called kedgeree. With the addition, it's actually like our Indian khichdi or khichdi, where they added fish flakes and boiled eggs. So it became a very hearty breakfast for their troops in India. And as I said, the French also gave us their own dishes, and the Dutch as well. Now, Portuguese, I just want to tell you that the Portuguese came in 1498 when Vasco da Gama entered India in Kerala. So various ingredients and condiments were actually brought in by the Portuguese, such as coriander, red and dried chilies, garlic, vinegar, and vegetables such as potato, tomato, pumpkin, cashew nuts, and all this. And the Portuguese left us their very famous dish called vindaloo, which is famous throughout India. Every community has their own recipe for vindaloo, only because the Portuguese went pan-India. They didn't just go to Goa. And each community's vindaloo makes use of the same basic ingredient. That is the name that came to vindaloo from the Portuguese is vina de ahalos. So vina meaning wine or wine vinegar, and ahalos is garlic. So actually, it was a very garlicky stew in when it was first introduced in India. But we have to thank the Portuguese for all the tangy food that we are eating. Everything that is preserved in vinegar, in tamarind, anything that makes use of a souring agent and which also acts as a preservative, we have to thank the Portuguese for that. So some old classic Anglo-Indian dishes from colonial Anglo-Indian India would be the railway meat curry, chicken or meat, the dak bangla curries of goat, meat, chicken, as well as eggs, kedgeree of fish and boiled eggs, country captain chicken. You must have heard of country captain chicken. Bengal Lancers shrimp curry. Then meat glassy, which was actually meat glaze. But the Kansamas couldn't pronounce glaze, so they made it glassy. And what is this? It's that shiny glaze that comes on the meat, which they named as glassy. And of course, they added tomatoes to give it that the body. And many glassy dishes also had the addition of fruit like pineapple and sweet mango chutney, which was actually innovated by the Bengal Lancers Major Gray. So they added this in the glassy curry to tone down the spices. And then also pickled fish and prawns, molokatani soup, and pish pash. Pish pash, even till today, we all have it in different homes. It's an overcooked rice, which is made like a kanji or a broth or a gruel, where it is overcooked and with the addition of maybe chicken or lentils, and it's a very soft dish, a comfort dish, especially when one is sick and recovering from any illness, easy to digest. So that's given. Then we also have cutlets and potato chops, stews and fricassees, And don't forget about the puddings which the colonial period gave us, such as the steamed ginger pudding, roly-poly pudding, etc. So I think we will talk a little about the dak banglas now. And then we'll go to the railways, army camps, and tea gardens. So for those who do not know what's a dak bangla, it was simply a traveler's rest house in the Indian subcontinent during the days of the British Raj, originally on the dak route. So dak was a system of mail delivery or passenger movement transported by relays of bearers on horses stationed at intervals along a particular route. And these rest houses were established or built at various points along the route. And these these dak bungalows later became travelers' bungalows and rest houses for the British officers. So the dak bungalow was invariably just a single-storied building, like a colonial-style house with a veranda, and it was equipped with basic amenities, which just had a few rooms where people could sleep with, very basic beds and blankets, and a general hammam or a bathing room for them, and a dry toilet because they didn't have underground drainage and other things in those days, and piped water. So, and food was always cooked in a kitchen that was away from the main house over a wood-fired oven, and invariably it was a chicken that was slaughtered, you could say, as soon as the coaches arrived. So the caretaker or the kansama of that dak bangla would quickly kill the chicken and start preparing the food. And also a lot of game was cooked in the dak banglas because there was a lot of wild fowl, pheasants, also river fish from close by, and this kansama would quickly prepare a meal. So actually, these are some of the dishes that are from the dak banglas. Quickly he would just make an omelette or just a simple chicken curry. Sometimes, most of the times cooked with rice because there was no way of making baking bread. But also, Indian flatbreads were served along with it. Boiled eggs would always be put into a chicken curry just to give it, more to go around so that more people could eat. So then we could go to the railway mutton curry. So the railway mutton curry is a direct reflection, a direct throwback to the days of the British Raj, when traveling by train was considered aristocratic. So the very name railway lamb curry conjures up scenes of very leisurely travel by train in the 1900s, with tables covered with white snowy tablecloths and gleaming cutlery and dishes and whatever. Now this delicious railway mutton curry and the chicken curries and the cutlets that were first served on the Great Indian Peninsular Railway, which was also known as the Blue Train, that began its journey, took 3 days actually from Bombay's Victoria Rail Terminus to Calcutta via Allahabad. And for the first time, it ran on the 7th of March, 1870, covering a total of almost 4,000 miles. And all the major trains, like the Grand Trunk Express, the Frontier Mail, the Deccan Queen, just to mention a few, had luxurious dining cars attached. But, and the caterers were all British companies. The Spencer's Company served the Madras and Southern Madras Maratha Railway, and the Northwestern Railway, Kellner's, the East Indian Railway, and Brandon's, served on the Great Indian Peninsular Railway from Bombay, Baroda, and Central India. So only the Bengal Nagpur Railway did its own catering, but all these others had railway catering services, and this lamb curry, the cutlets, and other food was not cooked on the train because in those days there was no electricity, and it was very dangerous for them to have an open fire in their pantries. So the food was cooked at major stations and then brought onto the train, where it was served to these very prestigious travelers who relished it with bread or dinner rolls, and sometimes with rice. Then, so this is the way the railway mutton curry came into existence. Now the army camp. So food always played a crucial life in the life of a soldier, whether it was during war or training or only in times of peace. You know, a full stomach would always be. So in the very, very early days, just dry bread and salted meat was served. But after they came to India, the British army messes had a lot of innovations going on, where the cooks and khansamas who were employed to cook the food again innovated and did things to help introduce this Indian food into army camps. And one very famous thing is Colonel James Skinner, or Sikandar Saab, was the founder of the famous irregular cavalry known as Skinner's Horse, or the Yellow Boys. Now, it turned out to be the finest regiment, horse regiment of the British Army. And later, this became the first Bengal Cavalry, and then was again renamed as the Bengal Lancers. So, incidentally, the sweet mango chutney was attributed to Colonel James Skinner, who was supposed to have invented this chutney just to give a sort of a sour and sweet compote sort of a accompaniment to their roasts and other British food that the soldiers were enjoying. But at the same time, as I said, curry powder also played a very essential part of making curries in the army camps, because again, the khansamas and cooks tried to introduce this into the army camps. Now, the tea gardens and plantations. You know, tea was introduced by the British in the 19th century to overcome the monopoly of Chinese tea production. So tea plantations were initially meant to produce tea for British consumers. But I mean, slowly the gardens spread in the Northeast, especially in Assam. And since laborers also were full and plenty, they were employed in these tea gardens. So here also, food played a very pivotal role in the life of a planter. And they had their own cooks, which were the Moog cooks, M-O-G. So these Moog cooks were actually a cross, I think so, between Burmese descent and local Bengalis. And so they sort of understood what the European ladies were trying to say. And they brought in a unique cuisine. And many of these delicious dishes are also served today as well in planters' clubs and other places. So I'll tell you about some old classic Anglo-Indian dishes, such as the country captain. So this was a very popular dish during colonial times, and since it was very easy to prepare, mostly homegrown, well-fed chickens were used in its preparation. And apparently, um, this dish was first innovated on these country steamers that plied on the river Padma and were made with country fowls or these water fowls, and then slowly brought overland as well. Then chicken in red wine, as you can see, was a legacy of French colonial food. And then chicken jalfrezi, which is a sautéed dish. It can be prepared with meat, poultry, seafood, anything. So it came from two words, jal meaning spicy or pungent, and fraisi meaning to fry. So this was a way of using up the previous day's food of previous day's roast that was cooked for dinner, and the colonial servants added some different ingredients to it the next day and made it a beautiful new dish. Now, this is still very famous and delicious as it is today in the cuisine of West Bengal. But in the south, we call the same dish as a devil curry because we make it a little hot. So now chicken, the Molokatani soups actually came from two words. Melugu meaning pepper and Tani meaning water. So this was innovated actually in the Madras presidency, more especially in the Madras Club, because when these Britishers came, they wanted a soup course for their dinner. But as you know, there's been no soup course in Indian cuisine before this. And what could these cooks do? They didn't know what these people meant by saying it's a soup. So what they did was they watered down a curry and gave it to them. They watered down their own rasam actually, and that's how it became Molokatani. And till today, it's very famous in all the colonies all over the Commonwealth. And believe me or not, I have seen cans of it available on supermarket shelves in the UK. So now these are some of the colonial roasts, as you could see, chicken, beef, duck, Christmas or any festival is not complete without a roast. And again, these are served in country clubs and restaurants in all over India. So now some colonial desserts are bread pudding, roly-poly pudding, caramel pudding, trifle pudding. So actually bread pudding, as you know, is an old-fashioned dessert, and it had its humble beginnings in the 13th century in Europe, actually. It was first known as the poor man's pudding. It evolved as a means of making use of stale, leftover bread for poor people to eat. Actually, the pudding itself was made with water initially, and it was very sad that these people had to, instead of eating those the dry bread, they had to eat bread dipped in water. But later on, this we added milk and eggs and made it into, and of course raisins and cashew nuts and other nuts, almonds, etc., and made it into a very exotic pudding. But can you imagine how it came into existence all the way from the 13th century? Then some colonial starters would be potato chops. I know you all know what's a potato chop. Rissoles and croquets, cutlets, deviled eggs. So we could go to the 21st Slide, please. And we have also some big dishes like shepherd's pie, chicken casserole, broccoli and cauliflower bake, egg and sausage casserole. So, as I said, many of these dishes have a unique history behind their existence. And there are lots of old colonial dishes which are not being cooked today the traditional way. So what gave rise or the decline of all of this very heritage cuisine? So as I said, due to various factors, the old traditional recipes are not being preserved. The recipes are not, sort of died with the older generation. And the older generation did not actually preserve or write down their recipes. It was more of intuition rather than, starting to preserve this cuisine. And Anglo-Indian cuisine has so many dishes with rhyming alliterative names like dol dol, kal kal, ding ding, pastol. So this very nomenclature of the dishes is unique and original and synonymous only to the Anglo-Indian community. So this is because they incorporated local words to make the servants understand what they wanted to make. So ding ding is actually preserved meat. It's something like your beef jerky that you get in other countries. So it's actually dried meat. Here what they used to do was, a lot of game was there in the olden days, and there was no way of preserving it, like, because there was no fridge or ice boxes to preserve it. So what they did was, they would flatten the meat, soak it in vinegar and a few some chili powder or pepper, then dry it in the sun. They would thread it in a string and hang it up to dry, because all the houses had courtyards. So that in a courtyard, they would hang this string of meat to dry in the sun, which was coming through the courtyard. And as the wind blew, these pieces of meat, as they dried, they would knock against each other and make a ding sound. And this is the way this dish, this of dried meat, got its name of ding ding. Ding, ding, ding. So there are many reasons actually for the decline of colonial cuisine in India. One is, as I said, the recipes were not preserved. And what was cooked by the older generation is lost because they never noted down their traditional recipes. And actually they cooked, as I said, by intuition. And nowadays, the younger generation didn't want that old traditional way of cooking because it took too long. Now everything is fast. And this old way, because there was a technique, there was a procedure which the older generation followed when cooking a dish. And that is not being followed today. Because everybody wants a fast dish, fast way of cooking. So we cook on gas. We don't grind our masala or the condiments on a grinding stone. We use a mixie instead. And we use a pressure cooker. And in no time, our food is ready. That old, slow cooking over firewood is lost. So the very taste itself is different. And that is what is the reason mostly for the decline of this cuisine. And but actually, there are now people who are trying to retain, especially like in these big hotels and all, where they want to preserve this heritage cuisine, and they have these food festivals. And I have been asked to consult with many big properties all over India. In fact, this part of my career after my retirement as a banker is giving me much more pleasure and happiness, because I'm able to share, I'm able to teach people about this old historical cuisine. So let me tell you a little about regional influences. So as I said, the British, the Portuguese, the Dutch, they were pan-India. And all of them left their mark. So, but you would see the same dish cooked in different parts of India with slight variation, only because we make use of local ingredients while preparing the food. So the spices that used in, much of the palette of the spices in the south is defined in a large part by the climate of the area and the produce that is grown because of that. So since coconut and is grown in the south, so Anglo-Indian food incorporated coconut in various forms in their dishes, as coconut milk or coconut paste, or even as shredded coconut in certain stir-fried dishes, which we call as a fougat. And other ingredients also, such as curry leaves, tamarind, ginger, all this is used in great extent in the south. Whereas in the north, tempering would be basically tossing in a bit of garam masala, or maybe even dishes were cooked in mustard oil. Whereas in the south, in the olden days, it was gingerly oil and groundnut. And then again, sorry. So bread is a staple in. I'm so sorry. In the north, bread is a staple. Whether whether it's Indian, different types of Indian flatbread. But in the south, lots of rice rice dishes came into existence. So we have our rice that is simmered in coconut milk, which is really very tasty and forms a very light base for any Anglo-Indian side dish or a curry. Then we have our tomato pilaus. We have seafood also, which is abundant in the south. So the food differs a little in different presidencies. And I can say that two streams evolved during the colonial period. One that was innovated by the Kansamas and cooks, as I said, in these dak banglas and railways and the army camps, etc., to cater to British taste. But then another stream evolved where we, the hybrid population, assimilated local fare into our cuisine, as our cuisine, toning down the spices completely, making it unique by just adding what was very necessary in its preparation. So there is a slight difference between these two streams of colonial Anglo-Indian cuisine that evolved. And till today, in all our homes, we are very, what should I say? We still stick to our own cuisine, even though we go out to eat other cuisines. But cooking at home, we basically stick to our own cuisine because it's comfort food. And it's something that we have been brought up on, and we would like to continue it. And we hope that in future also, our families will continue it. But I have my own doubts because, as I said, this is not going to last. It would fade away because of the different fusion that's taking place. And I would like to give you a few tips on how to get the authentic taste of Anglo-Indian dishes cooked by grandmother. I will read it out to you because there are quite a few things which I'd like to tell you as I'm reading it. So, you know that the joy of cooking begins with using the right ingredients. So always use the right ingredients. So in order to get the authentic and well-remembered taste of your grandma's cooking, it's always advisable to use only the right ingredients that are called for in the recipe. Don't add what you feel like adding because you're going to get a completely new dish. The secret of good cooking and tasty cooking is the right proportion of ingredients that are to be used in cooking a particular dish. While preparing any dish, a perfectly balanced mix of the various ingredients should be maintained, since adding even a little more or a little less can ruin it. Another important aspect is to extract the correct strength of a spice and never to overstate it. It is always advisable to use good quality condiments and spices. Specific use of condiments such as chilies, cumin, pepper, turmeric, etc., either whole or as powders, can be used in your cooking, but do ensure that the expiry date has not lapsed. And so that when you're shopping, do check the expiry dates. And as far as possible, use ginger and garlic paste that is ground from fresh root ginger and garlic, because the ready-made ginger and garlic available, the paste that is available in stores around the world actually, they contain vinegar and other acetic acid and other preservatives, which detract actually from the original taste of a dish. And it gives it a completely different taste and flavor. So it's always better to use fresh ginger and garlic. But if fresh homemade ginger and garlic is not available, then garlic powder could be used instead of fresh garlic, and ginger powder could be used in place of fresh ginger. But try to avoid this store-bought ginger garlic paste that is available in the stores. So when making a good curry, you need to fry the onions and other ingredients which give it depth and body. The onions should be chopped or diced finely, and this will ensure that it will fry evenly and create a good base for your curry by combining the flavors of all the other ingredients. Then, while using dry spice powders, always mix them together with a little water before adding to the fried onions. So, always ensure that spice powders are cooked or fried on low heat, and keep adding liquid to it so that it doesn't burn. So care should be taken to cook fresh and tender meat as far as possible. Also, vegetables, fresh and tender vegetables. So any good cooking oil could be used depending on one's preference. And when making a vindaloo, you could use malt vinegar or white vinegar, or like in Goa, you can use your fruit vinegar. So, but always remember that you shouldn't add anything in excess. And you avoid random garnishing to any dish, because sometimes what happens, you would not have used coriander in while preparing the dish, and if you add coriander as a garnish, coriander leaves, you're going to spoil the taste. It's going to taste only of coriander. And finally, you must follow the recipe for each dish scrupulously. Don't mix or match ingredients that you think is would give it a better flavor. Then now, actually, in the words of Wolfgang Puck, cooking is like a painting, picture, or writing a song. Just like there are only so many colors or notes, there are only so many flavors. It's how you combine them that sets you apart. So, would anybody like to? We could have a question and answer session now. Would anybody like to say something?
Hello, ma'am. Good
Hello.
evening.
Good
I'm
evening.
Professor Manikandan. Actually, I went to Udupi and I was surprised to have a fried bun called banana bun.
Yes, yes, it's very
And
famous there. Yes, in
yes,
Mangalore. Yes,
so when I spoke to the shop owner and I asked, this tastes like European, and how come it is in this part of the world? And he said, when the Dutch came to Udupi and they had their maids were taught how to make this bun, and that's
yes,
how it entered that place. It was a very interesting story,
yes, yes,
actually.
yes. Mangalore buns, and they serve it
Bangalore
with
bun.
tomato, this coconut chutney, and
Yes.
they give you like a stew together with it.
So it has multiple sweet and savory mix, and because chutney is salty and buns were
Yes,
sweeter, but it was
yes,
very soft and tasty. So I
yes.
wanted to inform in this group that Dutch had also brought something and left here, and
Oh,
they're
yes,
still surviving.
definitely, definitely. They were the ones who introduced dough, no?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And
So
another thing is, even forced meat was brought in by the Dutch, which is keema today.
Keema, okay.
Yeah,
Another thing, I am from basically from Chennai, currently living in Mumbai.
yeah,
But in Chennai, there is a place called Perambur,
yes,
where a lot of Anglo Indians live
yes,
there. So if
yes,
you go in the streets there, you can see sausages, you can
yes,
see all the Anglo Indian food even still today.
yes,
And
yes,
I used to work in Taj at the beginning of my career, and many waiters were from the Anglo Indian community, and
yes.
uh, the English is not British and not Indian. It is
No,
something
we
different.
add just like our food, we have
Yeah.
our own accent as well.
I would say fusion English.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah,
So very interesting, actually.
yeah. Hmm.
Yes. Thank you so much, and you are gracefully you had shared your knowledge so far, and
Thank
it
you
is
so much, Mr. Manikandan. Thank you so
yes,
much.
ma'am. Very interesting. I am the dean for School of Hospitality at NMIMS University. If you come
Oh,
to
how lovely.
Mumbai, I would like you to talk to our students anytime.
Sure, definitely. I would be honored, in fact.
Okay, ma'am. We'll make it online if not possible at least.
Yes,
I'll
thank
take
you.
your contact from the organizers.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Rohit Gill, co-host of this session. Now, this is the turn of our audience. As invited to participate, please feel free to ask questions if you guys have.
Hi, Chef.
Hi.
Well, my question is related to the current status of the Anglo-Indian cuisine in modern India,
Yeah,
and how it is being preserved and promoted around in India, all over the world.
actually, in our homes, in Anglo-Indian homes, we still prepare our own Anglo-Indian dishes, but it's not available anywhere else apart from our homes. And it's in very few of these big hotels and restaurants where, to some extent, some of these dishes are being still cooked in and served at these restaurants. But at the same time, there's a lot of awareness being created now, all thanks to the internet, because there's so much awareness, and it's reaching many more people. So lots of properties are having these food festivals and food promotion events where they showcase these colonial Anglo-Indian dishes. See, dak banglas and all. It's now what is still cooked as a red chicken curry in the dak bangla, and these travelers bungalows and inspection bungalows. It's what was brought down from the days of the British Raj, actually, the red murgi curry.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Anything else?
So it appears there are no questions from the audience at this time.
How
But
sad.
one question is from my side, ma'am.
Yeah.
These days, we don't find much Anglo cuisine.
Yes.
So, what we can say, what are the reasons behind it?
As I said, a lot of fusion has come into the picture.
Yes.
Yes. And now it's the days of butter chicken and biryanis.
Right.
Okay. So
Right.
you find a plethora of these restaurants everywhere serving the same things.
Right.
And people have got so used to having spice now, spicy food, that they won't relish this food, which is a little toned down.
Right.
So this is one of the reasons that fusion food came into the picture. Another thing is, what should I say? Nobody wants to take the trouble to do cook these old dishes because it took time.
Right, ma'am.
And see, in the olden days, they made use of country hens, birds that they shot, pheasants and quail and other things.
Yes, ma'am.
Now it's all broiler chicken, which is, within 15 minutes, you're able to make a chicken dish.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
Cooking techniques have changed. The very ingredients have changed.
Right, ma'am. So I think it is all about the method that we are changing in it.
Yes. But then now I think slowly everybody are going back towards, they're fed up now. I've seen many people being fed up of eating in hotels.
Yes, ma'am.
In fact, I conduct these small at my table dining experiences. I have tied up with a travel company as well as with an event company. So I give them some dates, and they come to my home, sit around my table, 6 at a time, and I serve a whole Anglo-Indian meal to them. Something like, sometimes it's a dak bangla chicken, railway mutton curry, stew with a nice toast and cutlets, potato chops. So it's a very nice experience. If you follow me on Instagram, you will be able to see that how I'm trying to preserve this taste and to give the normal people who have no idea about this cuisine a taste of it now.
Right,
All
ma'am.
of them are so excited because it's not available in any restaurant. The main reason is every dish has to be prepared fresh. You can't use a basic gravy that is prepared before time in a restaurant,
True, ma'am.
Onion and tomato gravy, because sometimes we don't use a tomato in some of the dishes. So take
Yes.
for instance, when you're cooking a pepper chicken, the hero of the dish is pepper.
Right, ma'am.
Only you fry onions, pepper, and your chicken.
Right.
You don't mix up the flavors, adding curry leaf or ginger garlic paste. And now you're getting the flavor of your chicken as well as your pepper.
Right, ma'am.
That's the beauty of Anglo-Indian cuisine, where we don't mix flavors.
Right. So I definitely I
Good
would.
evening, ma'am. I have one question. Sorry to interrupt you, sir.
No issue, sir.
It is a very nice session, ma'am, and very much informative.
Thank you.
My question is that formerly the rice puddings, they were very much that popular.
Yeah,
Everyone used to enjoy that.
yes,
But nowadays the customer preferences, they have been changed. The
that,
customers, they are liking the cakes, pastries, and all.
yes,
So,
yes.
what has been changed in that rice pudding to they have the guest turn on the cakes or pastries?
Oh, because see, there's so much of cakes now, no, so much innovation in cake, and that has to be sold. So that's the reason why, even in these big restaurants, all these pastry chefs are trained only to make cakes. Oh, how nice if they serve an old-fashioned rice pudding with that thick cream on the top. And actually, the rice pudding should be baked, over time in a on low heat. So, Mr. Noonwal, you come to my home. I will make you the rice pudding.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Definitely.
I will come to your PCTE and show you how to make it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Hello, ma'am. Sorry, sir. One more discussion. If you see the entire Malabar coast,
Yeah.
everybody makes wine at their home, even the Keralites and the Goans.
Yes. Yes.
So, who do you think brought it, either the Portuguese or the British?
The Portuguese.
Portuguese brought the wine.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of us make wine for Christmas.
Yes, entire Kerala and Goa makes wine for Christmas at home.
Yeah. All over,
And-
in every Anglo-Indian home, you'll see the grapes soaking for Christmas.
And in one of the homes, they served me pineapple wine, which I was very much surprised. I
Yeah,
didn't know there is pineapple wine actually.
yeah.
That is one thing. And another thing, now I get after your session why they serve still cutlet and chai and soup in Rajdhanis and the trains.
Yes.
Maybe
The
they are
tomato
following the
soup-
same menu.
Tomato soup is
Tomato soup.
yes.
And
A
in the
cutlet.
trains, they still serve.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. And we also make ginger wine, no, which is like a cordial, so that we eat such heavy food during Christmas. So this helps in giving
Digestion.
us good digestion. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So thank you for the insightful session on the rise and fall of Anglo-Indian cuisine.
Yes.
Ma'am, your expertise and passion for the subject were truly appreciated by
Thank you.
our audience.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate your time and contribution to making this session a success. Once again, thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience with us. We look forward to future collaboration. Thank you, ma'am. Have a great time. But, ma'am, we have one more question for you. Question is, why dark bungalow chicken, railway style mutton curry lost its grace in today's culinary world?
As I said, the problem is it's actually unknown. If you really think about it, they just went out of style with the older generation. And it's only now that we are trying to create awareness and bring it back into the mainstream culinary landscape, That's the thing. Because we must preserve these. See, Dak Bangla cuisine is very robust.
Right, ma'am.
It's not because of the basic facilities that were available there. So it has no refinement in it. But because of it being so robust and so healthy, it should be still served everywhere. But as I said, it's still it's what is now the Lal Mulgi curry in these inspection bungalows and travelers bungalows. That's the same thing as the Dak Bangla curry. But railway mutton curry, sadly, but we in Anglo-Indian homes, what is known as our railway curry is the tamarind meat curry that we make.
All right.
That is the thing. That was what was cooked during the railways, in the railway mutton curry, because we use tamarind to preserve it. See, Anglo-Indians manned the railways, right? They worked in railways. And whenever they went online, they had to carry their food with them because there was no hotels and restaurants in those days, So
Yes.
their wives would make this, pack bread for them, and this curry would last for 2 days. Why? Because of the tamarind.
All
It
right.
acted as a preserving agent. Now again, that was because of the Portuguese. They gave us this idea and method of preserving the food.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your knowledge with us. Have a great time, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. So, as you all know, I have brought out 8 recipe books, cookbooks.
Right.
They're all available online through Amazon. In fact, I'm in the process of bringing out something called the Colonial Connection, which deals not with our everyday Anglo-Indian food, as I said, the stream that we follow, but the old Dak Bangla recipes. I even having even game also I'm including.
Right, ma'am. Right. Thank you, ma'am, once again.
Is it time now? Is it time? And I'm supposed to talk for 1.5 hours.
Ma'am, now this is time to the new session.
Yeah.
So thank you so very much, ma'am, for this wonderful and informative session, ma'am.
Thank you. And the chef, again, I say, my honored participants, especially my thanks to all of you and to all the honored chefs and other dignitaries who are here, most especially Chef Anedvin, for being so kind to include me in this informative and I can't say, I'm truly honored. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So, good evening, everyone, once again. And now this is the new session timing. So, I'm going to introducing the Dr. Sheri Kurian. Dr. Sheri Kurian is the principal in hospitality management at the SJIHMCT, Pala, Kerala. He is a postgraduate in tourism administration and has a PhD in business administration. He has successfully completed 5 outbound projects related to hospitality services with leading multinational companies at Bangalore that includes ISRO, Schneider Electrical and Infosys Tech. He has always taken much interest in training and development activities. As principal, was able to take the institution to the next level as the SJIHMCT Pala was able to achieve the Best Hospitality Institute in Kerala and the 12th Best Institute in the private sector in India. He introduced the global hospitality education at AIMS by signing MOU with various instrumental educational institutions. While he was working in Bangalore, he also took the initiative to modernize the hospitality labs. He organized various national and international seminars in association with other hotel management institutions. Also involves corporate social responsibilities in the students and encourage them to participate in various social activities like blood donation camp, tree sapling plantations, etc. Dr. Kurian was instrumental in organizing the AIMS Hospitality Innovation and Culinary Expo at the AIMS Institutes, Bangalore, every year, which provides a platform for the hospitality professionals, students, faculty, and food lovers to exchange their ideas and compete for each other, observe and learn from the masters, which is one of the kind in India. Similarly, he introduced Pala Palette, a unique culinary extravaganza, and SJIHMCT Pala. Dr. Kurian has published many articles related to the hospitality and tourism in various publications in India and abroad. Successfully lead many projects such as International Passenger Satisfaction Survey and app development for Indian Custom 2016 and 2018. Dr. Sheri Kurian won a special award from the Bangalore Ex-Serviceman Association for his contribution to the society through community services. He was awarded to his outstanding contribution to the hospitality industry by the IFCA in September 2016. He was presented with the Best Young Chief Mentor Award by the Indian Federation of Culinary Associations at the 8th International Chefs Conference 2019 for his relentless efforts to the upliftment of the culinary industry and monitoring various young chefs and also carrying forward the mission of IFCA. Dr. Kurian was awarded an appreciation certificate by the Guinness Book of World Records for meticulously organizing a medical camp with highest number of participants in the entire Karnataka state in the year 2017. Dr. Kurian is an esteemed member of the prestigious SCAL International, and he has been mentioned to the executive board of SCAL Kochi in 2024 as the mentor for young skillages. Now I'm handed over to the sir. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Kurian, joining you from St. Joseph's Institute of Hotel Management and Catering Technology, Pala. You know, Pala is one of the education hub, and it is located in the central Travancore of Kerala. So I have been given this opportunity by PTC to address you people about the Kerala cuisine. So I thought I'll just share a few developments and emerging trends, what is there in the Kerala cuisine, what is happening there in this Kerala cuisine, and to make it more unique and significant to the contributions towards the culinary tourism. So having said that, I would like to start my presentation, and I request the technical people to share the PPT. Yes, hope it is visible to all. The title given to this presentation is The Hidden Gems of Kerala Cuisine. Next. Yes. So regarding the preamble, can I have the full slide, please? So I just made some divisions of my entire presentation, like to start with the culinary importance of Kerala state, and also the geographical significance of the state and how it is contributing towards the culinary aspects, agricultural practices which is followed in the state, and its contribution towards the Kerala cuisine development, and the role of British, Portuguese, and French invasions, how it has impacted the changes in the Kerala cuisine. And next, major influences in the Kerala cuisine, which is apart from the above, and the culinary diversity of Kerala, and the regional specialities. These are all the divisions I have made it to make it more unique and easy to understand. Next slide, please. As far as the culinary features of Kerala state is concerned, I would like to invite your attention to the recent interview which has happened with the chef Gagan Anand. In his interview with the Times of India, he is categorically mentioned as the cuisine that rapidly spreading the wings across the globe. And I would say he is right. Why? Because Keralites now started migrating to many other countries across the globe. And it was there before, now it is intensified. So what happens? The youth, they are migrating now on a large scale in volumes to different developed countries for having a better life exposure and living standards. As such, they carry the culture and the food habits of Kerala wherever they go. That is how the Kerala cuisine is spreading their wings or its wings across the globe. A phenomenal growth in the culinary tourism concept of Kerala. You know very well, it is already branded as God's own country, but a lot of innovative concepts, ideas have been put into practice, especially in tourism sector of the Kerala. And one of the major influential sector is the culinary tourism. As such, I can say that many people or the joint venture startups have been started with the concept of developing or introducing something new in terms of Kerala cuisine. There are a lot of varieties. That is the emerging trends slides I will be explaining further. The third aspect is Kerala cuisine, as of now, we all understand that it is more flexible in terms of understanding, preparations, and also to put in practice. At the same time, it is more or less adaptable by all. And people are accepting, the Keralites basically, they are accepting many other cuisines and they are mixing it as a fusion to create something new and projecting it. Innovative, at the same time, health conscious. So this is a new concept where it is so much of innovation is happening there in the Kerala cuisine. At the same time, people are health conscious. And these people, basically, they are traveling all around the world. When they come back, it is not that easy to satisfy them. So they demand what exactly they require and what they have experienced some other places. The exact uniqueness they are demanded. As such, the chefs here in Kerala, they are practicing the Kerala cuisine, where they are more conscious about the healthy menus and the preparation of such kind of dishes for the customers. Authenticity, traditional as well as seasonal. And it is another unique feature of Kerala cuisine to maintain its authenticity. And as far as possible, it is they follow the traditional methods. And seasonal commodities are widely used. That is, local commodities are much used in the Kerala preparations. Another concept is homemade food concept, wherein you can see the hotels, especially like all branded hotels, leading hotels in Kerala. They have a division managed by the homemakers. They come and they prepare the food, homemade food for their customers. And it has become a very big successful venture in the Kerala cuisine and Kerala hotels as well. Next slide. To understand the little bit of history and geography of this Kerala, I'm sure Kerala is a state at the southern end of India that everybody knows. And you know that just 590 kilometers coastal line is there for Kerala as a state. The breadth of the entire state is 35 to 120 kilometers only. And the total area is 38,863 square kilometers. And the overall population is 3.5 crore. This is all about the Kerala as a state. As far as the geographical structure of Kerala is concerned, Kerala has a unique geographical structure and has significantly shaped its cuisine, which is located on the southwestern coast of India, and the state is bounded by the Arabian Sea to the west and to the Western Ghats to the east. This diverse landscape comprising coastal plains, midlands, and highlands influences the food habits. Coastal areas focus on seafood dishes, while the highlands such as Wayanadu, Idukki districts contribute spices, coffee, and tea, because that is the major cultivation there. Next. The mainland, I think just go to the previous slide. Yes. The mainland support is about the rice and coconut cultivation, which are the staple food of Kerala cuisine. The state's monsoon climate is also influencing the Kerala cuisine and flavors the growth of bananas, jackfruits, and variety of tubers. It is also cultivated in the state. Next. Let us look at the climatic conditions of the state. Tropical climate, and more or less is a pleasing weather always, but at the same time it is pretty hot and humid in nature, and blessed with the monsoons, especially from June onwards, and it plays an important role in terms of deciding the agriculture pattern. Whereas when it comes to the winter, usually starts from November to February, wherein these seasonal fruits and vegetables are cultivated at that time. And when it comes to summer, that is March to May, it is almost dry. And it is pretty humid and hot. Let us look at the topography of Kerala. As I said, the Western Ghats, a sequence of rocky mountains, edges the eastern boundary of Kerala and ascends roughly up to 1,500 meters above the sea level, with the lofty peaking rise up to 2,500 meters. And the next aspect is the hills and valleys. The narrow piece of land on the eastern border, close to Western Ghats, encompasses hills, deep valleys, and which are covered with thick woods, that is the forest. Almost all the rivers of the state originated here. Midland plains, these plains which lie along Kerala, central part of Kerala, which are located in the west of the hills and the mountains. Another one is the coastal belt that we will all be very familiar. The narrow belt of coastal land along with the Arabian Sea is characterized by the paddy fields, rows of coconut trees, and serene. Backwaters are also there, initially linked by rivers and inland waterways. The backwaters and rivers consist of lakes and inlets of oceans which straggle out in the land. The largest backwater is the Vembanad Lake, which stretches out to the Arabian Sea at Cochin Port. There are 49 rivers, lakes flowing in the state of Kerala. Among them, 46 flows into the west and the other 3 flow to the east. They evolve from Western Ghats and rush towards the west into Arabian Sea. So this is the topography of Kerala state as a whole. Next slide. As far as the historical significance are concerned, there is a myth. Like a warrior is Sage Parasuraman, the 6th avatar of Lord Vishnu. He is the creator of the state, Kerala. That is the myth. So, melting pot of many cultures and civilizations that we can easily make out if you know the history of Kerala. Especially, it is sharing the borders with Tamil Nadu. And once upon a time, the Kerala was ruled by Chera and Chola dynasties. And therefore, the influences of Kerala cuisine starts from that era onwards. We are sharing our border with Karnataka, especially the North Kerala. And as such, we can see the Konkani food influences there in the northern side of Kerala. Next, please. Similarly, the Wayanad district is bordering with Karnataka, especially Mysore, which is the place for Hyder Ali and Tipu. Their invasions has contributed a lot in terms of Mughal and Muslim cuisines to emerge into the Kerala cuisine. Next. So as the British, Portuguese, and the Dutch colonial culture, because all these people were sharing the state and ruling them for more than 100 years. As such, we can easily make out the influences of their cuisine as well to contribute for the Kerala cuisine at present. Next. Agricultural practices and importance. As I said before, the rice is the staple food here, followed by coconut, rubber, tea, coffee. Next. Cashew nuts, pepper, cardamom, and tapioca. Major cultivations are concerned. And Kerala's economy has traditionally begun agrarian with rice and coconut farming, the backbone of its agriculture. See, here we should understand rice, the staple food of Kerala, so as the coconut is widely cultivated, and if you look at the other aspect is tapioca is also widely consumed, cultivated and consumed. Paddy fields were widespread, particularly in regions like Kuttanadu, which is known as rice bowl of Kerala. Most of the rice cultivation happening in Palakkad as well as Kuttanadu. These two places are well known for rice cultivation in Kerala. Coconut cultivation influences every aspect of the cuisine. As such, you can see there most of the Kerala cuisine and Kerala is prefer coconut oil and coconut assets in their curries and preparations. So from oil to cooking, grated coconut in the curries are most widely used. Cash crops are rubber, tea, coffee, and cashew nuts, which are more or less exported from here. Cultivated but exported. Kerala also boasts an array of tropical fruits like mango, papaya, and pineapple. And pineapple is cultivated widely here in our place in central Travancore. Everywhere we can see the pineapple fields and pineapple estates. Next. Its lush greenery and fertile soil make it ideal for growing these crops, forming the foundation of Kerala's culinary identity. Next slide. We are just entering to the next aspects of influences, factors that influencing Kerala cuisine. Historical and cultural influences, indigenous traditions, Arab influences, Tamil Nadu influences, Karnataka influences, like this we can, religious influences like this we can segregate it. And of course the Western influences, that is what we have just seen. Next. Geographical and environmental influences. Yes. Apart from the previous one, a rich culture of Ayurveda that has influenced a lot and influencing a lot in present Kerala cuisine and its developments. Seasonal crops are the another influencing factor for the Kerala cuisine. And the festivals, especially like state festival called Onam, it is a festival related to the harvesting of crops. Vishu, which is scheduled, usually happens in the month of April, is the beginning of new year. It is also a festival here, and you can see the diversity of the cuisines which is playing, especially for these kind of state festivals. Next. Culinary diversities of Kerala cuisine, which is the window of Kerala culture, we can say. And Sadhya, it is a communal dining, especially in vegetarian concept. You can see in the picture, a plantain leaf is placed, boiled rice is kept, a variety of dishes which is all vegetarians. Preparations have been lined up. And it is also derived from the concept of Ayurveda. And if you look at the ancient history and Ayurvedic principles, the positioning of each and every curry is also matters while having a sadhya. And which means how healthy it is and how to eat gently with all these medicinal values and things like that for helping the digestion process. That is how they place these curries as a sequence on the plantain leaf. Next. As far as the culinary diversity, the factors responsible are continuing now. Economic stratifications, tapioca and rice divisions. Why it is tapioca and rice divisions here? I'll tell you the history behind it. See, there was when the World War II was happening, and complete situation, economic situation was very poor, and the drought was there, and the people were not able to cultivate food and things like that, where it is total division of the communities that happened in terms of food habits. And tapioca was available because it is cultivated. So the poor people used to have tapioca, the boiled tapioca and the mashed tapioca, something like that. And the rich people can only afford rice those days. So that is something still reflecting it in the food habit, wherein tapioca now is widely used by everyone. So once upon a time, it was considered as a poor man's food, and the rich people were finding it little hesitant to have tapioca as their food or to project tapioca as their food. So that is the division happened before. Then religious observance. You know that we have multiple religions here. Kerala especially is with the Christian, Muslim, Hindu, all these things are there. And it is more or less equally balanced. And the religious observance, like when the Sabarimala season happens, most of the Hindus, they prefer to become a vegetarian. Lending period starts. Similarly for the Christians, when the Christmas comes, 50 days lending period is there. Those days, they won't even touch this meat or non-vegetarian food. And similarly for the Muslims, when the Ramzan starts, they take lending for another 45 days or 30 days, something like that. So those days, they won't even eat any food. So like that, the religious observance plays a vital role in terms of deciding the food habits of the Keralans. And more or less traditional cooking methods have been adopted, and even the hotels are following the traditional cooking methods even now. Flavor balancing is something which is quite common. That means the menu, what they are preparing it, and they were very cautious and they are very particular in terms of diversifying the flavors without any repetitions. Adaptation and fusion. Adapting other cuisines and making a fusion cuisine here in Kerala cuisine is quite common. And it is practiced in almost all the regions here. And another important aspect is, or unique aspect is, local ingredients are widely used. And it is very much visible, evident by seeing the preparation itself, because most of the ingredients are locally available and locally used. Next. Spiritual significance, that is the something related to the religious observance, which I told you, that especially during this festival time and the religious particular seasons, people follow a typical diet methodology as well as the menus are concerned. That time they have a different, especially for the monsoon season. You know, there is one particular concept called Karkadaga Krangi. And monsoon period is considered as the most difficult period for the ancient Keralites, because that time there is no job, no income, and no cultivation possible. And people, of course, cultivation is possible, but the harvesting is not possible. So all these things they considered as little difficult periods, especially in the monsoon seasons. So what happens? They used to have these kind of supplementary food like karkada kanji and things like that. It's a medicinal value kind of thing, wherein it kind of regenerating situations here. Next. This is something like the Sadhya. Festivals like Onam, Vishu, Eid, and Christmas are integral to Kerala's food culture, which I said before. Each festival is associated with specific dishes. The Onam Sadhya is a vegetarian feast comprising over 20 different varieties of dishes. While Christmas celebrations features cakes, wines, and meat roast, which is the English and Portuguese culture has been followed as it is. Eid in Kerala is marked by the dishes like biryanis, patiris, and sweet puddings are quite common. Traditional functions such as weddings also emphasize elaborate meals that reflect regional and cultural diversity. You know, in Kerala, especially in marriages, now it is a practice. It is a common practice. Like either Western or typical Kerala food or a mix of cuisines have been catered there, and according to the preference of the people who are getting into these functions. So their choice, there are people who are able to provide the different variety of food. Next. Next slide, please. Another important factor which is contributing a lot into the Kerala cuisine is spices and condiments, because it is already cultivated here. Kerala is well known for the spices and trade, and it was once upon a time it was the largest exporter of spices to the Europe as well as to the Middle East. Kerala is often referred as the land of spices due to its historical role in spice trade. The state produces world-renowned spices like black pepper, cardamom, cloves, nutmeg, and cinnamon. These spices have been integral to the region's cuisine and export economy for centuries. They not only add flavor to the dishes, but also have medicinal properties recognized in Ayurveda. Next. Kerala spice markets in places like Kochi have historically attracted traders from Arabia, Europe, and China, shaping its global culinary appeal. As such, we can see when it goes to the influential sector, we can see how these kind of trade has influenced a lot in terms of having people coming from different part of the world and their influences towards the cuisine. Next. Fish, which is another important staple food of Kerala because it is blessed with the coastal lines, and a lot of fish and fish preparations are available in Kerala cuisine. Fish holds a special place in Kerala cuisine, reflecting the state's rich coastal heritage and abundant marine resources. Here are some key points highlighting the significance of fish preparations in Kerala. Meen curry. In local language, it is called meen curry. It is nothing but a fish curry. But the fish curry, what we prepare here, is totally different from other states' fish curry. How it is different is something which is very interesting, where they used red chili powder, especially Kashmiri chili powder, and the kukum, which provides the typical sour taste. And most of the time, the fish curries are prepared in earthenware. Fish fry, shallow fat fry is most common here. Fish moili is another preparation where coconut milk is widely used in this fish preparations. Karimin pollichadu, that is the pearl millet fish, which is cooked, or we can say steamed, in steam, as well as which is wrapped in the banana leaves and with the masalas and things like that, and it is steamed. That is what is called karimin pollichadu. Of course, fish pickle. Different varieties of fish pickle are available, homemade, which is widely available now for the people. And the uses of spices are much common here in the fish preparations. Coconuts are widely used. And most of the festivals and celebrations, without fish, it is not complete. Special occasions like Onam, Vishu, all these things, non-vegetarian people prefers fish. Without fish, their sadhya or their food is incomplete. Next. Similarly, the meat preparations. Meat plays a significant role in Kerala cuisine, contributing to its rich and diverse culinary heritage. Some of the influencing points or highlighting significance of meat, especially Kerala beef fry, because it is the people out here are more or less they are beef eaters. Mutton is also there, equally consumed. Chicken, duck, pork are widely used in almost all the seasons and festivals and things like that. There also they use widely the spices, coconut and slow cooking methods are mostly used. For most of the festivals and celebrations, meat is an inevitable component. And community feast, especially in the marriages and things like that, without meat preparations, again, it is incomplete. Next. Here, I would like to show you one video about the Malabar meat box. You can see the preparations and how different it is from other preparations. Next slide. As far as the unique vegetable preparations, Kerala is well known for its avial. It is a mixed vegetable curry made with coconut, yogurt, and blend of spices. And it is quite essential dish in the Kerala cuisine. And most of these sadhyas without avial, I would say it is incomplete. Thoran, it is another word, other words we can call it as a sabji. A dry vegetable stir-fry made with the grated coconut, mustard seeds, and curry leaves. It can be made with the various vegetables like cabbage, beans, and carrots. Sambar, it is again influenced by Tamil cuisine. A lentil-based vegetable stew made with the tamarind and a blend of spices. It is quite common accompaniment to rice and dosha. Olan, it is a typical Kerala preparations, a mild creamy curry made with ash gourd, cowpeas, and coconut milk. It is often served during the festive occasions. Eriseri, again, it is a typical Kerala tradition. A traditional dish made out of pumpkin, beans, and grated coconut, seasoned with mustard seeds and curry leaves. And culinary techniques are concerned with the use of coconut in various forms. Grated milk oil is quite often, and it is used in almost all vegetable preparations, which gives a unique taste and richness. Tampering, that is tadka, the method of frying spices in oil to release their flavors, where we used to have mustard seeds, curry leaves, and red chilies, whole red chilies for these tadka preparations. Next. Steaming and boiling is also quite common in Kerala preparations. Next. Commonly used cooking methods. Kerala cuisine boasts a variety of cooking methods that have evolved over time, blending ancient techniques with the modern innovations. Ancient cooking methods like steaming, boiling, roasting, frying are quite common in Kerala preparations. Apart from that, next slide. Fermentation, because fermented products like idli, appam is quite common, and it is a usual diet in our Kerala cuisine. Next. Next slide, please. Grilling is quite common, especially the meat and fish grilled preparations are used, and it has been included widely in the menu. Apart from this, pressure cooking, microwaving, baking, slow cooking, sauteing, blending, and pureeing are also used in Kerala cuisine as a modern cooking techniques. We are entering to the culinary diversity of Kerala. Kerala cuisine is a reflection of its geography, culture, and history. The state is divided into distinct culinary regions, each influenced by its geography, coastal, mountains, and plains. The cultural interactions, Arab, Portuguese, Dutch, and British traders are also contributed a lot in terms of the Kerala cuisine. Common features across the Kerala cuisines are heavy use of coconut as oil, milk, or grated and flesh. Next. Spices such as cardamom, cloves, cinnamon, and pepper are the key factors of this Kerala cuisine. Staples include like rice, tapioca, and fish, along with meat and vegetables are widely used. Next. Ayurveda influences the balance of flavors and health benefits. Culinary diversity of Kerala, we can divide this entire Kerala state according to its culinary diversity, like North Malabar cuisine, South Malabar cuisine, it is also known as Mapla cuisine, Central Travancore cuisine, South Travancore cuisine, and Tirupachi. Tirupachi is also Travancore-Kochi combination. Next. Next slide. Of course, tribal cuisine and coastal cuisine. Next slide, please. Let us look at the Mapla cuisine and its characteristics. known for its rich, spicy dishes, heavily influenced by Maplas, that is called Muslims culture. You have seen the video before, where the well-pounded meat, which they are using it for in the pancake preparations, they are using it for stuffing it. So it is called madakstan. In northern Malabar cuisine, which is quite common, snacks preparations. Similarly, the same kind of preparations are used with the egg as well. Like that, it is a variety of preparations are there from the Malabar cuisine with the influences Arabs and the Mysore Mughals and Tipu and Hyder Ali, which I said before. The region is famous for its spicy and aromatic dishes, often cooked with the freshly ground spices and coconut. The Mapla community plays a significant role in shaping its culinary identity with dishes like Talasheri biryani that use the short grain Jeeraga Samba rice. You know, especially if you go travel there in towards the Malabar side of Kerala, the northern side of Kerala, Talasheri biryani is something which is you should taste. And it is amazing in terms of its taste and the preparations are concerned. And people used to say, if you walk around the street, especially in the night, especially 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the evening, and that is the time where they open the this dum of biryani, Talasheri biryani. And the entire street will have this aroma of biryani. That is how people are getting inspired to go to visit this particular place and taste it or buy it. Coastal areas like Kasargodu, Kannur are known for seafood specialities like Kallumakaya, that is the mussels, and Arikaduka. It is again as snack preparations, which I will show you later. Next. Wayanad, another what you call Western Ghat area, adds a unique dimension with its forest-inspired flavors and tribal cooking styles, emphasizing natural ingredients like bamboo shoot and the preparations in the bamboo and all the little amazing things from the tribal cuisine. Next. Yes. Key dishes of North Malabar cuisine. Kallumakaya, as I said, stuffed mussels. So I don't know whether I can show it here. This is the Kallumakaya preparations. Talasheri biryani, Neipatri is here. Arab-inspired sweet like Matta Surka is this one, which is prepared with the influence of Arab influences are there. And that is how the Malabar cuisines preparing their snacks, especially in the evenings. Next. South Malabar cuisine, when it comes to Kozhikode or Malappuram, which is considered as South Malabar, particularly Mapla cuisine, where it is a lot of Muslim populations are, is deeply influenced by the centuries-old trade links with Arabs. Known for its unique blend of Kerala spices with the Middle Eastern techniques, the cuisines features layered dishes like Chattipatri, which is a savory or a sweet pastry, and the rich ghee-laden Kozhikode halwa. And I'm sure all of you might be heard about these Kozhikode halwa, and people who travel or via Kozhikode, they prefer to have this Kozhikode halwa, something which is very unique in nature. Dum cooking is a hallmark, especially in biryanis, which I said about the Talasheri biryani, and almost all biryanis, especially in northern Kerala, Mapla cuisine, this is dum preparations. Next. Dishes are often garnished with the fried onions, nuts, and raisins, reflecting their luxurious flavors. Next. Spices like cinnamon, cloves, and cardamom are used generously, creating rich, fragrant meals that have become iconic in Kerala culinary landscape. Key dishes of South Malabar cuisine: Kozhikode halwa, this is the one, and Chattipatri, which I have already shown now. Arikaduka this is the snack of Arikaduka, which is with the rice flour preparations and allow stuffed with the sweet or what we call little spicy things. Next. When it comes to central part of Kerala, it is called Travancore cuisine. Usually Kottayam, Pathanamthitta, Idukki are the districts which is covered under central Travancore. And Central Travancore cuisine reflects in rich culinary heritage of the Syrian Christian community. When it comes to the Travancore region, it is dominated by the Christian community, and as such, you can see the influences of Christian, especially English, Portuguese, and Dutch influence there in their food habits. Known for their love for meat and fish dishes like karimin pollichadu, pearl spot fish which is grilled in banana leaves, and duck roast stews and appams are quite staple and common in the Central Travancore preparations. Next. Appam, which is a soft, lacy rice pancake paired with the coconut milk-based stew, vegetarian or chicken, or even duck. In another highlight of Travancore cuisine. Next. The region is also celebrating regional seasonal ingredients with jackfruit, tapioca, often featured in traditional recipes. Next. The use of coconut in all forms like milk, grated and oil adds distinctive creaminess to their dishes. Next. Key dishes of Central Travancore cuisine, karimin pollichadu. You can see this karimin pollichadu preparation. As I said, in the bed of banana leaves, the fish is placed, which is having a stripes here, and in that the masalas will be filled, curry leaves will be placed on top, and it will be steamed. That is how it is being prepared. And the duck roast is here, and appam is here along with the curry. And next, tapioca, which I will show you later. Next. South Travancore cuisine, especially Alappuzha, Kollam, Trivandrum districts put together. The South Travancore cuisine is heavily influenced by its coastal geography and proximity to Tamil Nadu. Next. This region known for tangy and spicy seafood dishes like tapioca with fish curry, naimin curry, that is sear fish curry, and the mildly flavored avial, vegetable medley in coconut in yogurt. And cuisines uses tamarind, that is or kukum, and raw mango for sourness, complemented by coconut milk and creamy balance. Banana leaves are often used for steaming and serving and adding earthy aroma to the dishes. Next. Yes, this is something, a specialty of typical Travancore cuisine, where the fish curry, which is prepared, and you see that the kind of gravy and the color combinations. Along with that, the tapioca and fish curry is quite common and people love it. Avial, another common preparations, which is here, and this is also a part and parcel of Kerala cuisine. Next. Tirukochi, especially the Thrissur, Kochi, Ernakulam regions are put together, combines the culinary practices of Kochi's trading port and Thrissur's cultural heartland. Next. Cuisine is also known for its diversity, balancing vegetarian and non-vegetarian dishes. Puttu and Kadala curry, that is the Bengal gram curry. Steamed rice cake with the black chickpeas is beloved breakfast dish. Most of the people love Puttu and Kadala curry. While seafood dishes like kappa, mean curry, tapioca, that is fish curry, reflect the region's coastal identity. Next, please. Sadhya, an elaborate vegetarian feast served on banana leaves, is an integral part of the celebrations, showcasing the harmonious blend of flavors unique to the area. Next. So the Tirukochi cuisine, like Puttu with the Kadala curry, this is the combination. Kappa with the mean curry, this is the combination, and the fish moly preparations are here. Let us look at the Idiki Vayanadu, that is the district which is sharing the border with the Western Ghats. More popular in terms of the tribal cuisine. The tribal cuisines in Kerala is a testament to the simplicity and resourcefulness of indigenous communities. Next. Centered around forest produce, it features ingredients like bamboo, rice, wild honey, and tubers. Dishes are cooked using traditional methods such as open fire cooking, which imparts a rustic flavor. For instance, kuva curry, that is banana flour curry, and chemmin kedangu, that is prawns with the tapioca, cooked together, highlighted highlight their reliances on locally sourced ingredients. So which is also a part of a tourist attraction now. The tribal food and the culinary extravaganza offered under this tribal cuisine. Next. The use of minimal spices ensures the natural flavors shine through, making this cuisine unique, earthy, and nutritious. Then the key dishes of tribal cuisine contains bamboo rice. You can see this bamboo rice. Tubers, yes, these are all the different tubers cultivated, and it's all from the forest producers. And wild honey, they use it widely because it is now plenty of wild honey is available there in the forest. Next. Coastal cuisine. When it comes to Alappuzha, Kochi, Kollam, they are these are the three districts where the most of the fish hatchery is happening, and it is supplying to the rest of the districts in Kerala. Kerala's coastal regions are celebrated for their seafood-based cuisine. Fresh catches like prawns, crab, and pearl spot fishes, Kurian are the stars of the menu. Signature dishes include fish moili, and which is a mild coconut milk-based curry, and chemmin ulartiyadu, that is roasted prawns, spicy prawns, deep fried. Coconut, which is widely cultivated and in various forms it's been used, is a vital ingredient for all these curries and fried dishes, while banana leaves are often used for steaming fish to enhance its flavor. See, in Ayurvedic concept, not only the flavor, it is also contributes certain nutrients in terms of which is good for our health. That is why people are widely using the banana leaves. The cuisine showcases the bounty of Kerala's backwaters and its age-old culinary tradition. As such, I don't know whether you have traveled in houseboat system and all, where they prepare the freshly catched fish, they prepare in front of you and provide the dishes there. So this is something which attracts people a lot in terms of the uniqueness and its fresh ingredients are concerned. Next. Coastal cuisine key dishes are concerned. This is what is called chemmin ulartiyadu. And this is again the fish with the coconut milk, which is already seen, fish moili. And Kurian curry. This is the Kurian curry, which is the pearl millet, which is before we have seen the what we call the Kurian pollichadu. Now it is typical curry preparations out of Kurian or even pearl millet. Next. An overview of emerging trends in Kerala cuisine. It is always a concept, or we can say it is a competition between the traditional Kerala cuisine and fusion-based Kerala cuisine. As such, you can see a wide range of food joints offer traditional methods or traditional foods. At the same time, fusion cuisine are also equally emphasized or equally giving the importance. New concept and innovations are quite common, and it is often practiced. And you can see the most of the chefs like Chef Pillai and all, their fish preparation, fish nirvana and all is a part of his innovations. Health conscious food culture is widely accepted and people are demanding for it. Combination of grains are used for roti preparations and other things because it is quite healthy. As such, people are demanding for multi-grain preparations. Next. Let us see the traditional versus fusion, how it is emerging into the Kerala cuisine. Next. The culinary landscape in Kerala witnessing a blend of traditional and modern flavors. Traditional meals like sadhya still hold significance, but there is a growing inclination towards fusion dishes. Mandi, again, it is an influence from the Arab countries. Yemeni rice dish, alfam, grilled chicken with the Middle Eastern flavors have become increasingly popular due to Gulf influence. You know that most of the Keralites are there, more than the Keralites are in Kerala, I think they are in the Middle East. So their influences are there. Their contributions are there in terms of introducing this mandi, Yemeni rice dishes, alfam, all these. These dishes combines Kerala spices with the global techniques, creating unique fusion. Next. Restaurants across the states are now offering hybrid menus that appeal to both local and international palates. New concepts and innovations. Kerala tourism industry has fueled innovative culinary trends. Houseboat kitchens, along with the backwaters, provide curated meals featuring fresh seafood such as karimeen, wrapped with the banana, that is karimeen pollichadu, or fish, pearl millet pollichadu, leaves cooked with the spices, which is the, I would say, the hot cake for most of the tourists. Similarly, sharp curry. It is another interesting concept now it is emerging. It is a toddy shop curries because Kerala is well known for the coconut and this palm tree toddies. There are plenty of toddy shops are available, and now the toddy shop culture has been changed. Like people along with the family, they started visiting the toddy shops just to have that food. You know, you can't even imagine the kind of changes taking place. And the toddy shop curries, that is called shapu curry, is mind-blowing. People love it. And every Saturday, Sunday, you can see it is full. That is, people are waiting in queue. It's traditionally associated with the rustic flavors. It's become reimagined in upscale restaurant. These curries, often made with the beef, pork, or duck, are served with appam or kappa, or that is tapioca, combining local authenticity with modern presentations. Next. Health-conscious food culture. As health awareness grows up, Kerala cuisine has adapted to include lighter and healthier alternatives. Traditional dishes like puttu, steamed rice cakes, are now being made with millets or red rice, offering low calorie and high fiber options are also common in now Kerala. Next. Next. Coconut oil, traditionally considered unhealthy, now the concept has been changed. People started using coconut oil more now in Kerala cuisine because of this unique taste and the medicinal values are concerned. It is being evaluated for its health benefits and incorporated into diets in controlled quantities. Next. Vegetarians and vegan versions of traditional dishes are also gaining traction among the health-conscious consumers. Combination of multi-grain. The use of multi-grains has become a key trend in Kerala food culture. Traditional staples like dosa, idli are now being prepared with the combinations of millet, ragi, and quinoa, catering to the modern dietary preferences. Believe me, there are preparations of combined grains with tapioca and banana or even jackfruits are also common. This shift reflects a blend of ancient food habits with the contemporary nutritional science, promoting better health while retaining the traditional flavor. Next. I would like to invite your attention to this small video where you can see entire sadhya is made out of fish, which is a unique concept followed in Calicut or Kozhikode. This is called Samudra Sadhya or seafood feast. So very short video it is, and entire preparations are based on seafood. Nothing is other ingredients are not used like vegetarians or vegetables or fruits or nothing has been used. So this is another uniqueness, which is a trend, innovative practice, I can say, which is happening there in the Kerala cuisine. Next. Next slide. Next slide.
Food has always been a major ingredient in every culture. But in the last few decades, cuisines of the world have migrated from their original homes to become known and cherished across their boundaries. From time immemorial, travelers and invaders have visited Kerala from various parts of the world. Keralites integrated these visitors' food habits and practices and developed a unique food pattern that is now renowned the world over. In fact, people began to use Chinese vessels for cooking and serving in the place of earthen pots, and these are ubiquitous in every Kerala home. The long coastal belt, biodiversity, fertility of land, abundance of spices, clubbed with an attitude to accept changes in varieties from around the world, have resulted in putta from Sri Lanka, appam from Portugal, tapioca from Brazil, baked dishes from Britain, and meat preparations from Arabia, which have all become a staple part of Kerala cuisine. The traditional Kerala feast is vegetarian. Rice, curries, pickles, fried wafers, and desserts are displayed and served magnificently on a plantain leaf. On festive occasions, more than 60 dishes along with different varieties of paisans and plantains are prepared and offered. Once, the traditional breakfast of Kerala was rice gruel with purukka, a curry with roots and tubers and legumes infused with plenty of coconut. But today, there are so many South Indian dishes on offer, like idli, dosha made with fermented batter prepared using rice and legumes, a combination of rice puttu, steamed cake, green gram, papad, wafer using black gram as the main ingredient. North Indian dishes like chapati, puri, naan, and even international dishes like pizza, pasta, varieties of bread, and other wheat-based baked items. And these have all become an integral part of the breakfast table of Kerala. Kerala is blessed with a variety of fish, both in the sea and its rivers. Places like Alappuzha, Kochi, Kumaragam, and Kollam are known for fish delicacies. even though meat dishes are popular across the state. The meat recipes of North Kerala, formerly known as Malabar, are distinctive and special. Some of the food items include dum biryani, kalamikaya dishes, various types of patiri and mutton stew, and delicious mutta masala. Any description of the cuisine of Kerala should also include tribal dishes which use local produce and are cooked in traditional handmade vessels using traditional cooking methods like grilling and utilize Kerala spices. Kurangati, Kurumolaga Kanji, Dal Curry, Kira Puri, Sentaladaga, etc. are some of the tribal food offerings. Food knows no boundaries or borders. And thanks to food imports and exports, no cuisine is unachievable in our own kitchens. Boldly go where your taste buds haven't gone before, with recipes from countries far and near. Your kitchen is the flight deck, and Kerala is every food lover's destination.
Can we have the next slide, please?
Yes, sir. Just a second.
Yeah.
कोलंबस वेंचर कॉलोनिस्ट का फोन है।
Welcome back to the metronome. I'm Sawan. This is my song rock, where I brew original songs out of recipes and other unlikely material. I'm just back from a weekend family reunion in Kerala, and I have brought back with me the recipe for my mom-in-law's mind-blowing tomato pepper garlic rasam. It is a simple, quick recipe with all fresh ingredients, and it is my favorite rasam in the whole world from all the varieties of rasam that I've tasted so far.
Rasam, 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 rasam. Hot and spicy, tangy and yum. A recipe I got from mom. Rasam, rasam, rasam. Chop tomatoes, peel the garlic parts. Pepper from our vine in the country of the gods. Cumin and turmeric and salt to taste. Add to a blender and blend to a paste. Add water to the paste, turn on the heat. A dash of jaggery for a hint of sweet. Bring to a boil, let it simmer while you sail. Temper oil with some chili mustard here. Add some curry leaves to the boiling pot. Turn off the heat, add the juice of a lemon while it's hot. Rasam, rasam, rasam. Tomato, pepper, garlic, rasam, rasam. I could drink this instead of beer. Clears my sinuses, brings good cheer. Rasam, rasam, rasam.
I can literally drink gallons of this when I'm in the mood for rasam. So I do hope you'll enjoy both the song and the recipe. Also, I need to apologize to you guys for the long breaks between my videos. You see, I've been completely caught up on one hand with my commercial music projects, which are important since they pay the bills, and on the other hand with trying to set up my Patreon site, which, if it actually takes off, should enable me to post much more frequently and regularly at the metronome by reducing my dependence on the commercial stuff. So here's keeping my fingers crossed about that. You guys will be the first to know once my Patreon site is up and running, and I'm trying to make it a really exciting and different experience for all those of you who decide to become my patrons eventually. In the meanwhile, I'm looking forward to your feedback and your comments in the comment section. As always, do rate and share the video, especially with
So all these videos which I played here to understand about what is Kerala and how the things are happening here, especially in the culinary sector, how people are innovating, and especially the last video about the rasam and the recipe presentation, preparations. And it is an ideal method. We can always say that we can use it for our students as well, so that they will not forget it. They will never forget it. So these kind of innovative techniques can be used, and this is what is happening here in Kerala, most of the sectors here. As far as when we reach the conclusion, can I have the next, this one? To conclude this presentation, I would say Kerala cuisine is the most vibrant in its characteristics and evolving along with the new practices and concepts that we have already experienced now. Next. It becomes the most sought after cuisine in Europe and Middle Eastern countries because, as I said before, Keralites are always there, prefer to go abroad, and they are already there. So they carry their tradition and cuisine. Next. Innovation in lieu with traditional methods are more often being practiced, especially in the case of Kerala. Next. Varied concept with a lot of diversity is the unique feature of Kerala cuisine today. With a lot of diversity, that is what is the peculiar nature of Kerala cuisine. Next. So that's all from my side. Thank you for patient listening, and thank you to the organizers for having given me an opportunity to talk about something about the Kerala cuisine. Hope you are enjoyed it, or hope you are able to understand. And any questions are there, I would like to answer it.
Thank you, sir. Now we invite questions from the audience. If you have any queries or would like clarification on any of topic discussed, please feel free to ask.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
You have explained us, given us such an insight on Kerala cuisine with some geographical factors and crops. So my question is related to the geographical factors as such as proximity to the oceans and mountains, how they play a role as a shaping the Kerala cuisine.
All right. See, as I have already made it in my presentations, you might have noticed it. See, Kerala has got highlands, plain, and the coastal regions. And most of the coastal regions and their staple food is fish. Of course, rice is another one, but coastal areas are concerned, the fish is more widely used. And that doesn't mean that the fish preparations are limited to only coastal areas. So it has been widely used in other areas because the geographically, the proximity and as well as the accessibility is very quick and fast. So reaching fish or to reach out to the fish market is not a big issue here. So therefore, what happens is fish is more or less the staple food of Kerala diet. And those who are having non-vegetarian culture of habits of food, I think the minimum requirement is fish. So without fish, I think they won't be able to relish it. So that is how the importance of fish, especially in Kerala cuisines, are.
Thank you, sir. Adding on to this, I just also want to know about what will be the key differences between the Kerala backwaters and the state mountainous region cuisine.
Oh my God, I'm maximum 190 kilometers. See, from the Alapi is the coastal area. Alapi to Idiki, it is not 180 kilometers. That is the width of Kerala.
Okay, sir.
Sir, good evening. My name is Manikandan.
Yes.
I had stayed in Kerala for some time for treatments and tourism also. Predominantly in Thrissur and all, they serve a lot of kanjis, which I think could have been covered in this. The red rice one, the one with jeera, broken rice. It was all very tasty. My question is, how much do people still use it, or the younger generation? Do you think they will carry on with these kanjis, or it will be forgotten?
And Mr. Manikandan, for your knowledge is concerned, I would like to say most of the roadside eateries now they offer kanji.
Okay.
So the tapioca with kanji is a typical combination and mind-blowing combination now. People are most sought after food, I would say.
For our age group, it's fine, but what about the younger generation? Do you think they will?
I'm talking about the younger generation. I'm not talking about the people who are fond of junk foods. No, I'm not pinpointing them, but people who are explorers, especially from the weekends, especially from the other states, weekend riders, all these people, they go to these kinds of places to experience the traditional food. And the film actor, Kamal Hassan. Kamal Hassan is not a typical food joint in Alapi, Changanasheri Road. And it is not a 5-star property, it is not a 3-star property or any other. It is just a joint. And he prefers to have puttu and kadala from that particular place.
Because Kerala has a lot to offer for the health seekers.
Absolutely.
And which can be even marketed better, I feel.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay, thank you, sir. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir. I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So it's totally based upon the biryani, the Malabar biryani, which is you said it with the Kolkata biryani. So is it so that we have the Hyderabad or the Lucknow biryani is a derivative to the Malabar biryani, or it comes and originated in the Kolkata?
If you ask me as a person, I would say that a lot of differences there. And you will not get Hyderabadi biryani because I am fond of Hyderabadi biryani as a person. But I am not getting at Hyderabad. There are Hyderabadi restaurants here in Kochi, but none of the restaurants are able to serve typical Hyderabadi biryani. Whereas Talaseri biryani is quite common and people are, but I am not fond of this Talaseri biryani basically. But if I would, if I wanted to have a typical this one Hyderabadi biryani, either I go to Bangalore or some other place and have it, because I like that particular traditional preparations of Hyderabadi biryani, which I don't think our people are able to make it.
So the Malabar biryani, sir, is the root of the Kolkata, or it comes from the Arabic country by the trades?
It is Arabian influence.
By the trading link
Yes,
from the
because
Kolkata.
ancient times, you know that most of the spices were exported to the Arabian countries, and Arabs were here. They especially they concentrated on Malabar regions for their trade and commerce is concerned. As such, they have introduced this biryani culture here.
So, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Sir, to add up to that, I would say Malabar biryani is more of dry fruits and flavorful ingredients, and it's more white in color compared to other biryanis, because Kolkata biryani is yellow and it has more saffron and rose water and kevra water. Here they use more of dry spices and dry fruits, and it looks more whiter.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Sheri sir. This is Devendra from Bangalore.
How are you, sir? After a long time, I was wondering why you are keeping quiet.
No. I just wanted to thank you for the presentation, and nice to meet you, see you physically here,
yes,
online platform. In addition to what Mani Kandan's told, the Ayurvedic concept also highlights the Kerala cuisine, and especially the tribal cuisine. That Tal curry is there from Wayanad, which is famous. Now it is used for Ayurvedic treatment, like the present younger generations, especially, they are taking this tribal cuisine converted to the modernized or the young generation as a staple food, though it is a tribal cuisine that has been imbibed in Kerala. Thank you for your wonderful presentation, sir. We will keep in touch further.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure meeting you again.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I think there is a question from Gurinder sir, or maybe from the Rajprit sir.
No, sir, I think it's by mistake that the hand was raised. I think it was a wonderful session.
Right, sir. No issues. So, respected sir, we would like to express our sincere gratitude for taking the time to deliver an engaging and informative session. Your expertise and insights were truly valuable to our audience, and we appreciate the effort you put into preparing and presenting your talk. Thank you again for sharing your knowledge and experience with us, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Lot, sir. It is indeed my pleasure to have such a wonderful platform with a lot of qualified people attending this conference webinar. And also, I don't know how far I am able to contribute, but I could make out that people are enjoyed it, and it was useful and informative. Thanks for having given me this opportunity. Thanks for giving this opportunity for me to address you people about the topic about the Kerala cuisine. Thank you, and wonderful meeting with you people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Now I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude for attending today's session. Your active participation and engagement made the event truly enriching. We appreciate the time you took to join us and hope you found the session informative and valuable. Thank you once again for your presence and support. We will resume our Atal FDP tomorrow around 5:50 p.m. with new session. And I request to all, please switch on your cameras for the photo session. Thank you all. And feedback is mandatory. That link is shared in your WhatsApp group. Please fill the feedback. Thank you. Good night, all.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.